I'd rather even use a pseudo account. If you know someone and you have every detail about this person who is in group businesses or something, because these guys wanavaa mpaka watch that 12 million 20 million wanatuonesha tu, but you've never seen them working. Kenya is a country whereby billionaires, not even a single billionaire unapata kwenye ofisi yake individual as an office, they still want to be employed in the government.
Fred, kindly keep your comments short so that everyone can get a chance to speak.
Okay, thank you. Let me just end it there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Kenya Daima.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone who is here. I want to thank you for the good job you are doing. Yeah, so I want to disagree with some people who are saying we should pull out of the streets, because I think this is a good moment, and I think we should set an agenda. So my opinion was we can push for a constitutional moment so that we can tell these guys that we need to change the constitution. There are a lot of wrongs that are going on that we need to change. There are some useless posts such as the women rep slot. We can tell them we don't want that. There are a lot of ministries, we can reduce them. Then these MPs, we can tell them if you move around with 10 cars, we are going to stone you. We just need to move around with 2 cars. That is wastage. Shikov, as I finish, I hope on Tuesday we are going back to the streets.
Thank you so much, Kenya Daima. Let's have Dragonfire.
Am I audible enough?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Yeah, I rarely use my real name here. That's not my reason. But anyway, respectfully, my condolences to the lost Kenyans, the bereaved families. May they find peace, and to the injured, I wish them a quick recovery. So I won't regurgitate what everyone has said around governance. I know everyone is ranting right now. Kenyans are angry. There is corruption, we're being overtaxed, politicians are arrogant towards us, our human rights are violated, we have systems that are inefficient, left, right, center. So I want to regurgitate that. But walk with me, picture this scenario, which is something we have all gone through after uni. So you apply for a role, which is something cliche. You apply for a role, the role attracts a bunch of candidates. You go through rounds of interviews, you get to the final round, you get selected because you're the best candidate for the job. Nice, yeah. You get in, but it does not stop there. You have to work, you have to upskill so that you stay ahead of the game. And then, there are performance. We have the performance development review cycles where you're reviewed against your goals, and then against your goals and the leadership competency module. If this is happening to us in our hard-earned jobs, then why are we not subjecting these politicians to the same process? Why are we allowing these politicians to road dog leadership? Because I don't refer to politicians as leaders; these are politicians. And this is where accountability enters the chat. I know everyone talks about accountability and I don't want to rant about it, but I'll just give a solution around it. So one thing is that we are visual people, and visuals tap into our emotions, and data visualization can help with that. And I've been thinking about how we could really shape things up when it comes to keeping our government in check. I feel like we're just taking their word for everything. For instance, if you look at the current government, we have something, the manifesto was branded as the plan, which has everything they promised us, but we just took that one for it. So what if we have this super detailed system that basically acts like a giant report card for the government? So picture this, we set up this massive, all-encompassing public scoreboard. So it will be clustered all over the place, or it could be on a dedicated website, which is public. So it shows exactly how well the government and the different county governments and the different constituencies, whichever jurisdiction we're talking about, it's doing in all sorts of areas. So we're talking roads, we're talking hospitals, we're talking schools, you name it. Now, here's where it gets really juicy. So for each of these areas, we have these specific targets, right? We are setting the bar high for ourselves because we've already set the bar high for ourselves when it comes to this uprising. So say 90% of promised roads should be completed on time. 75% of farmers should have access to subsidized seeds. That kind of thing, you get the gist. And, they don't need, if they don't hit these targets by the time, the 5 years are over, then they'll be out of running for the next election. And I just feel like this system would, just be about, keeping, this system would help to keep politicians on their toes, and it will also be like a game changer for us regular folk, because we won't really like scratch our heads wondering if that hospital in county A or constituency Z ever got this new national safe policy. So we could just check the scoreboard and actually confirm that they have delivered on the project. So the reason I'm saying all this is because it's about bringing everything out into the open. No more vague promises. We have cold hard facts staring us in the face. And also, it will really help with like civic engagement, because we'd be like these super informed citizens armed with real data, and this would help a lot with just ensuring that people actually see what has been done. And if you don't see it, then you don't believe it. Political debates will also get way more interesting instead of just politicians going out there and throwing empty promises around. So of course, this, as I wrap up, this would be like a massive undertaking, and we need to figure out how to measure all these different areas fairly. Make sure we get the data accurately, just get everyone on board. And if you're interested in this, just let me know. But I feel like regardless, this would be something that's really worth it. And I know it's a crazy idea, but imagine just how different things would be if we had a system like this. So again, the rhetoric, or just my parting shot, is if you're working so hard to prove yourself at your workplace, then why can't these politicians do the same? Again, if you're interested in just creating this system, public system, just let me know. But that's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dragonfire, for your thoughts. And as we are wrapping up, let's have the Northern Light give your thoughts.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I highly appreciate. Personally, on the state of the country, I'm super stressed, and I don't know. I've been skimming through Twitter, and everything I see just makes me feel sick. And I know every Kenyan is extremely angry at this point. And I feel for us, we know what the problem is, and with the kind of force that we've been able to go forth in terms of the rejecting the finance bill, I think in as much as we are extremely mad, we need to approach now these issues with a lot of sobriety, open-mindedness, and some sort of organization structure to be able to address now what is the solution, because the problems are too many. Corruption being one of the major issues that is not only facing Kenya but Africa at large. And I do feel that we need to have stringent measures put in place, like these other countries like China. Like when you're a public servant and you're found to doing these fishy dealings, corruption and all that, there's so like this life sentence and things like that, whereby your children, if you're a public servant, your children are not even able to access the public services like school and health and things like that. And my other thought is, as someone working in the manufacturing industry, currently in Kenya, we have only 2 active companies that are actually manufacturing aluminium. And from the experience I've had from where I work, you find that the cost of production here in the country is extremely high, and steamer being one of the key expense that is very, very, very high. And I do wonder why the government actually has agreed KPLC to be a monopoly in terms of distribution of electricity in the country, for them at least to for Kenyans to get electricity at a cheaper price, I feel it's high time they give opportunities to companies like maybe Kengen, so that we can have competition. The fact that these people are selling electricity to KPLC and monopolizing people, it's extremely high, and these are some of the things that we need to be reduced, so that you can have companies coming up so that they're able to operate fully. Another thing that is in my mind, in terms of that is Kenyans getting opportunities to even bid for bigger projects in the country. Kenyans have aired their opinion out about things like the performance bond that is usually required for one to be able to compete or even bid for these jobs. Apparently, the Chinese organizations are given opportunities, and since they're being given loans from their own country, they're able to pay for these bonds and secure these jobs. So unajiuliza, if these particular people are given these particular opportunities to take these jobs, what about the contractors and developers and every other person that is expected to be here? How can they be able to secure jobs and give other people and employ Kenyans? So these people give the representative in the government huge kickbacks, alafu unapata now Kenyans wanabaki kama hawapati opportunity ya kuweza kufanya these particular jobs that are available. And I feel that in as much as we are asking for accountability, then what I think it's Dragonfly came up with an idea that is supposed to be put in place. And in as much as the heat of whatever has happened on Tuesday might not be felt to the depth that we want, it's high time we also rally everyone that is 18 years and above that is able to vote, and also sensitize one another, so that come 2027, any person that is going to have been able mentioned in scandalous things, corruption and everything, they have to go home. We cannot be able to give them an opportunity to divide us. There's the divide and rule thing that they've been doing all along, which has driven Kenya to a point where we are in this particular state that we are in. All in all, let's also keep praying so that we can have the knowledge and wisdom to know what to do and how to do it better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are coming to an end of this lovely conversation. Thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in and everyone who has come up to the speakers panel and the many comments that you have left on this space. And also a special thank you to my co-host Jeshiko. This conversation does not end here. We will pick it up from here as soon as we can. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for listening in. Kindly follow us on all our social media platforms at K24 TV and also K24 Plus. Have a lovely evening and keep safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's space. My name is Priscilla Wahio, and I won't be doing this alone. I'll be doing this with Jeshiko, who will give a few minutes to join the space. So a few ground rules before we start. I'd really love for this conversation to be an interactive conversation. So I'd really like for you to come up to the speakers panel. I can already see people have requested. So yeah, come up to the speakers panel, share your thoughts, share your opinions, and please keep it as authentic as possible. And if you're feeling a bit shy to do so using the speakers panel, kindly, it's okay. You can write your comment on the comment section. So we're going to give my co-host a few more minutes. Please, msitoke, just a few more minutes, and then we begin the conversation. But to just give you an overview of what we are going to be talking about, the country there has been a lot of activity going on in the country, from the protests that were seen last week and this week as well, rejecting the finance bill. Then the president withdrew the said finance bill, and we saw used during the speeches yesterday and on Tuesday that the president and the deputy president were asking for dialogue with the young generation. So those are the things that we're going to be talking about with Jay, who should be here in a minute. So yeah, first I'd really like to hear what everyone is saying. You're already on the comment section on the speakers panel. So let me just ask my first question before Jay joins us. So the protests have been ongoing and many lives have been lost. Unfortunately, it shouldn't have ended that way. But what do you think? Is it time for people to call the protests now, or should the young people in the country forge forward? I will start with Grace. Grace Oluwande. Grace, good evening.
Good evening to you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Do you think that the young people should call off the protest and go into dialogue with the president or the vice president?
Okay, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. And I think I was among the people campaigning for the Reject Finance Bill Act tag. And we've been there, we've been giving our views. Unfortunately, the government is so reluctant because so many lives were lost. Is when President Ruto agreed to speak about it and even concede. But the fact is, he did not push those agenda for nothing, and telling us that now he has agreed to not sign the bill, and he used a lot of force to put the bill in place in the first place. I think is not enough, and the fact that he's not even apologizing to Kenyans on the life lost, and even lying to Kenya that only 6 people passed on in these demonstrations, and also deploying police who were in civilian clothes was unconstitutional. So I think we should not stop, because President William Ruto should answer to the youths why he is killing people. Why is the government killing its own people? Is it wrong to give our views? Is it wrong for us to stand by the streets and say that actually we don't like what you are doing? Is it wrong to call on the government when the government is misusing funds that belongs to the people of Kenya, and denying even our children the right to access good education? So is it wrong for us to give our views? And I feel the youths are right, and I know political leaders, there are some political leaders misusing this platform and hiring goons, because personally I saw someone, and even the issue of City Hall being banned, I saw when somebody was actually burning City Hall, and he was someone with a gun in civilian clothes. So I don't believe that was a protester. I even had to hide for my life. So I just want to tell President Ruto that whatever you are doing is not good. We have several educated people who are watching what you are doing, and I want to call on President William Ruto to know that people's voice is the strongest than military. And I want to ask him a question. So if he kills all of us, who will be his slaves, if I may ask? Who will be his slaves? So it's upon the government to look at this issue and take it as a serious issue, because if we don't even have IBC, we have seen Uhuru Kenyatta using the same regime of dismantling IBC, and that gives a leeway for for political leaders to do whatever they want. So that is the impunity we want to stop. And we are not stopping it for ourselves. We are even stopping it for our own children. Thank you very much.
Grace, thank you so much for your thoughts. I'd like to hear from Keep Picture. Do you agree with Grace or do you not agree with Grace? Is it time to call off the protest, or should the young people in the country? I think that this is not really a young people thing now. Most people, other people have come out to protest as well. Do you think it's time? Oh, our co-host is here. Let's have her say hi to people first, and then we can continue. Jay, kindly introduce yourself, and then we can continue with the conversation for tonight.
Hi, Priscilla. Hi, everybody. I'll keep it very short because I see we have a lot of speakers, and this is a conversation that I think everybody should have a voice on. So let me just keep it short. My name is Jay Shiko, and we look forward to having this conversation with all of you guys. A lot has been happening in our country, and is still happening. I'm actually in a state of shock, so forgive me for my short words, but I'll come back and talk to you guys when I'm a bit composed. Yeah, Priscilla, back to you.
Thank you so much, Jay, and thank you for being here. As I was asking earlier, do you think this is the right time for let's have Keep Picture answer this question, and then we can continue with Jay. Is this the right time for the people who are protesting to get out of the streets, or
Why not giving
they
us time
continue?
to speak?
Pardon?
I think you should be a bit be fast, as in everybody wants to be involved in the conversation.
Okay, then share your thoughts.
Okay, I'll start by saying that the kind of things we are right now seeing. I was in Udhiro this morning. There's some guys who are in plain clothes, and those guys, like, people are even shooting before aiming. I don't know if you've seen a clip of that. The kind of things that are going on in the country at the moment are not appeasing, and we should not even stop. We should not stop demonstrating. We should not stop doing whatever we are doing, because if we stop, this guy is going to pick up, gather himself, and then continue the kind of things he's doing, because we know he's a man of tradition, a tradition of giving out empty promises. He never keeps his word. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your thoughts. Let's have Supreme Leader share your thoughts as well.
Yes, hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yes, first of all, I want to say that there's no point in stopping the demonstrations, because first of all, Gen Z and millennials are educated people. They are graduates. They have struggled to pay for university and go through university, and the current regime are very, very rude when it comes to especially doctors and people who have graduated, saying that, going to a graduation ceremony saying that there's no jobs, and telling doctors that they should take pay cuts while they are showing off their extravagant lives. So we don't have anything to lose. We don't have we have to fight. If we stop fighting right now, we won't have another chance. So there's no point in stopping, and the lives that have been lost will be for nothing. So I urge the people to push on, and until we see a real change, and humble these politicians. So that's my thought on it.
Thank you so much, Supreme Leader. Let's have Lucky Mutai.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, my thought is about the situation we are in today as a country. In fact, it's quite unfortunate that we are still mourning people. Lives have been lost through brute force used by the police. So, number one, William Ruto he has a sweet tongue, and he's a great liar of all times. Actually, he will lie straight to us continuously. And we know very well that he's taking this country nowhere. And today is also a show, because yesterday, after the press briefing, he said he called for sobriety and people to back down. But as you see things, people have no confidence in this government. And more so, even those people who campaigned for this government lost faith long time ago. And the young people are demanding for him to resign, just to vacate that office, so that someone else can occupy it. And the right honorable thing to do at this time, I think we should not wait until. There is one thing that a notion that people are saying, that Ruto has backed down, so let's listen to each other. I want to put it across. I want to state it categorically that this guy, he waited for 250 people to be injured. Alingoja watu 250 wakue, wavunjwe, wapigwe risasi. Then he comes to tell us that we can back down now, let's give dialogue a chance. 25 people were killed, yet he was saying yesterday that only 6 people were killed. Then we want to say that we can trust William Samoei Ruto, Baba Shalin. Then we're going to miss a point. Number 2, kama Ruto anatuambia ya kwamba that we are going to have a sit down, we are demanding the following from my side. We want audit. Sometimes back, Okio Mtata talked about national debts audit. We want to know, who are we owing? IMF, how much? We want to know, how much are we owing the World Bank? We want to know, how much are we owing other organizations outside the country or internationally? Then we want to know, we want William Ruto to be accountable. Yesterday he was saying that there will never be extrajudicial killing in this country. Since he came into power, I remember vividly when Raila Amolo Odinga called for demonstrations early last year. So many Kenyans were brutalized. People lost their lives. Some were being evicted from their houses. Some were being removed and killed in a broad daylight. Then, those people who were killed, what's the meaning of extrajudicial killing? If you say that no extrajudicial killing, yet people were killed last Mandamano 2023, about the same thing we are talking about today, the finance bill by then, which became a finance act. Now, we are in another era. People have died, almost 50 people, because we are only counting Nairobi, where so many lives were lost. What about other parts of the country? People died in different counties. So he has to tell us and come out clearly that how are we going to term this? Because he's now baptizing it as it's not an extrajudicial force. It's something else. That Uhuru used to kidnap people, kill people, bodies were being thrown in River Yala, and now he's doing the opposite. Yet people are being abducted in the wee hours. People are being killed left, right, and center. But he's telling us to back down. We don't want to know that which direction William Ruto is taking. What we demand from him is accountability. He should come out and tell us. Alisema ya kwamba we are every 100 shillings we collect as a revenue, 61 bob goes straight to the debts. Tunataka kujua how much tunataka hao watu tunawao, ama hiyo pesa yenye tumebaki nao ni pesa ngapi. Tukirudi kwa hii taifa, watu wangapi hao wamekufa? He has to tell us, and the faces of those officers who shot these people dead. Tuoneshwe sura zao, tujue hao ndio watu waliua wa Kenya. With snipers were planted within the CBD. It's so pathetic that we are discussing this thing. Snipers wanakuwa CBD kuua peaceful, an armed protester with just a bottle of water. being shot by a sniper. Then we are saying, oh, let us back down, give a dialogue a chance. No, we have to push this guy. I was in today's demonstration, and police were using extra force to put out mandamano to this. In fact, the destruction we see around is being caused by the police. Let's not lie to ourselves. People are peaceful until you provoke them. The moment you provoke citizens, they will turn. Kuna kitu inaitwanga homoni fulani kwa maisha ya binadamu. Wakati unakuwa threatened, unakuwa muoga. Kidogo kidogo unasikia kama unaweza pigana. That's actually what's playing out. So to me, my parting shot, we have to put this guy to be accountable, to be transparent, and more so, to be taken back to ITC so that his criminal records be opened again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lucky. Let's have Keep Picture. Yes. Keep Picture, you can give us your thoughts.
So you have able to stay back of the people in the street in the current affairs. I think already is killing us whether we stay home or outside to the streets. So I think it would be better dying out there in the streets fighting for a better cause than dying back at home. Looking at Eldoret, what happened today, people coming out with weapons and all sort of things, chanting war songs, and there was no presence of police to deal with such a thing. But for a Kenyan that comes out with a flag and a piece of paper to push his message out there, and they are faced with such police brutality, honestly, I think we are living in the worst time. And at this point, Ruto should just resign. He should just and basically his lie. Whatever he said yesterday doesn't reflect the events that have taken place today, including shooting a child, 5 years, 7 bullets. That's very brutal. So for me, all I have to say at this point, he should just go home. For him to at least make his legacy better, he should leave at this point and let Kenya be safe.
Thank you, Keep Picture. Let's have Emmanuel.
Okay, thank you, Jay. What I have to say now is that we can't back down now because we know what we are dealing with. We are dealing with someone who is narcissistic, who cares about how people view him. He gives promises which he can't fulfill. He makes prayers and he has to pay them back. Like now, what we are really suffering is that because of IMF and the World Bank, because he has to please them. He prepares a bill in the United States, then comes to force it onto us. Then he's making our leaders look like just chaotic. You should look at the parliament. The parliament passes the bill, it celebrates. Ruto rejects the bill, the parliament celebrates. Okay? So that tells us what the kind of leader we have in Ruto. And you can't hope that person changes. That is him. If you ask those who have been around him, that's Ruto. My friend, B.T. Mondi, told me that after before the election, he was warning us that Ruto has been his MP for 15 years and don't expect much from him. And how I wish that such messages were said across Kenya louder. So that's my second point. Then the third point, the government is not owning up what it has done to the Kenyans. That's extrajudicial killing, killing young, peaceful demonstrators. And instead, what they are really doing is blaming NIS. You can't blame NIS. You want NIS to tell you that the finance bill was bad. You want NIS to tell you that Kenyans do not want the finance bill really. So that's an excuse, and someone is taking a fall. But what really happened is that the government was aware of these killings and they ordered it to scare us. When you look at the formation of the police officers today in Nairobi, it was specifically made to threaten us, to instill fear into us. Like that, because no crowd was allowed to grow. The police everywhere dispersing, arresting people. during tear gas. Actually, it was the police who are rioting throughout the city today. So we can't have such. The other thing is lies. We did lose 6 people yesterday. People from Githurai alone, actually, they are estimating to maybe have lost over 250 people. And even IPOA, human rights guys are investigating. We are inviting more international societies to investigate this. But the reality of the matter is that we did not lose 6 people, and we did not even lose 25 people. We have lost more people who are peaceful, who are unarmed. My last point, actually, I see there's very many speakers, is that we Kenyans, we need to reward good behaviors and punish bad behaviors. We have leaders walking around with bad behaviors, guys who are arrogant. They are holding party offices and they can just speak to the people the way they want because they are friends of the president, and the president is going to protect them. Guys who can sell rocks and soil to Kenyans because they know they are friends of the president, the president is going to protect them. Now we know that Ruto actually protects the corrupt officers. He came to power promising, I will deal with the corruption. He has never arrested a single corrupt man. We have not had a corruption in his era, really. If he was serious about corruption, we have had like 200 to even 1,000 arrests, which really would be his friends, really. So we are not backing off. These are bad leader and his friends, the MPs who voted yet. We are going to send them back home. And we can't wait until it's 2027. We have to continue. We have a pace. The pain has got pace. We can't stop now. We are going to take all of them home. And some of them ICC, including their top leader, because that's where they belong. Thank you very much, Jay.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel, for that. I think I'll bring Africa. I don't know if you've spoken, but Africa can go and then we'll bring up somebody else to the speaker panel. Emmanuel, I'd request you to drop because you have a lot of people requesting to speak. So whenever you're done talking, kindly drop from the mic so that we can bring more people. Africa?
Yes, am I clear?
Yes, you're clear.
Yes. I first just want to say that Kenya is our business. How Kenya is being run is our business, and that's why we are coming out. Hatutajalisha ya kwamba ni nini inaendelea kwa hii nchi, lakini we need change and we need change right now. I'm not going to speak much. Nataka kusema hivi. In Eldoret, there are those people who are chanting war songs in the streets. Not even a single police was there to stop them. And that was just left. That was in Eldoret. In Nairobi, a child is being shot. Not once. Even not only in this government, but also in the previous governments. That kid who was shot, baby Pendo, was shot. Nothing was done after that. Tunapelekwa to this, even the judiciary has failed us. Not only the government, but yes, even the judiciary is also part of this government. They have also failed us because these people are doing these atrocities, but there are no actions being taken. Like, there is this MP, Didmas Baraza, shooting someone and killing him. The next day we hear he's elected, he's in the parliament, now he's untouchable. These people think that because they are in the leadership, they are now untouchable. We want to show them that we are the power. Today, they tried to scare us by taking those military men to stroll around the city so that we can be scared and stop picketing. But let me tell you guys, the military people are not against us. They can't shoot us. They are not trained to fight civilians. They are trained to fight in wars, in battles with armed people. which are threats. We are protesting peacefully. And I am really hurt in this country where people who have not gone to school, they have no business with school, are now the ones that are earning billions, are billionaires in this country. People like Oscar Sudi, they're splashing 20 million just as if he's counting donuts, and then they want us to keep quiet. Mimi ambao pia nimeenda shule, now struggling with how to pay help, I can't get a job in this country. I'm being told that if I want a job naweza enda ni apply kwa mjengo zenye government inatutengenezea. Someone who was trained as an engineer is now going to work under some Chinese who has been given the contracts. Then we keep quiet. So hizi tunaongea hapa, those NIS people, those intelligence and whatsoever, and even people in the government, I'm sure they are listening to us. Now after this, there are threats that will be coming to some of us. They know how to find us. Hata ukijificha katikati ya mtu, hata ukienda Lake Victoria katikati Migingo, they will find you there. But they can't find the people who are looting. Uhuru said that 2 billion is being lost per day, each day. But there is no one. They know that 2 billion is being lost, but no one has been prosecuted. But you, just speak. You will be found wherever you are. Sisi tumeamua kukufa. In this country, if it is going to be streamlined by me dying, then let it be so. Because I can't live. It is better I live, I die trying to change this country rather than die starving in the house with the kids. Hatutanyamaza. And I'm very hurt how even now these politicians are speaking, while others, Ruto anakuja anatuambia, instead of apologizing, anatuambia that only 6 people have died, yet we know very well that the people who have died are more than 20. Anadanganya mbele yetu. Sometimes I also say that we Kenyans were stupid because we were told this thing, and we knew this person is an ICC liver. He was in ICC, akatoka kwa sababu aliua all the witnesses. Tukaona it is because Raila never did what Raila. This time is not, yes, it is not time for blame games, and we don't want to blame anyone. We blame ourselves for putting them in power. But this time around, tumeamua, we are taking the power back, no matter what. Mimi wakitaka kunikujia wanikujia. When they want to come for us, they have killed those children. A child, anapigwa 7 bullets. For what reason? A child, a kid, mwenye hata hajajua kujinunulia pads. And I'm really annoyed with this government. I don't want to speak much. Welcome the next speaker.
Thank you, Afrik, for your thoughts. I can see Ivan Ochieng, your hand is up. Afrik, you can drop from the speakers panel so that another person can come up and speak. And also kindly keep your opinions very short because we can see there are so many people who are requesting to speak. So Ivan Ochieng, you can unmute your mic and speak.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'll keep it short. I think there is something that we are not talking about as vast as we should. The Githurai killings, that was mass execution of those people. And I think we should be more vocal about it, and we should not let it die the way the government wants to. I think I saw a video by Paulo Kimani, where one of the residents was talking about how those guys were trying to clear everything up. They're killing them and loading the bodies on lorries and transporting them somewhere else. I don't think I don't think we should keep silent about Githurai massacre. Even from now, we should be vocal about it. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Ochieng. Kindly drop from the speakers panel so that someone else can come up. Nyonje Levin, you can speak.
Thank you so much. I appreciate this opportunity. First, let me start by saying, as a nation, we are in a very bad place. Very bad place. And it's not that it has just happened. It's not that it has caught us by surprise. Generation after generation, year after year, government after government, we have suffered suppression and oppression from one government to another. And one of the things that really hurts me about every government is the level of accountability. We know that it is our right to understand and to know how public money is being utilized. However, one thing that is very clear is that from government to government, we hardly know. We are always being told there's a budget, there's a deficit, there's a debt. But no one ever accounts for how that money is spent. If you live in a place like Naivasha, you will be amazed at how many government vehicles just drive into Naivasha day after day, week after week, month after month, just for conferences. When do these people get time to work? The level of productivity in our governments is it's extremely low. If you walk in a government office today to be served, you will be shocked. You will wait the entire day. And sometimes you have to wait 3-4 days for you to be served. At least we thank God for Huduma, because in one way or another, it came to alleviate, but still we are having problems. You cannot walk into the Ministry of Lands and be served the way you're supposed to be served. There's a problem. And every Kenyan needs to be very, very angry about this. Now, I am for the demonstrations. I am for the protests. And I say that it is very important that when we hold the government to account, we hold the government to account with intelligence, extreme intelligence. We cannot afford to bring hooliganism. We cannot afford to use tactics that are either forceful or are either violent in nature or destructive in nature. We have proved so far that out of our mouth and out of our minds, we can bring a government to listen. Now, one of the things that, again, is very important for us to understand is the level of insincerity that we are seeing in this government, especially in this government. Tuesday evening, the president gave a speech that was nothing close to reconciliatory. In fact, it was abusive. It was a humiliation to the democratic, democratic activities that we have carried out. Then the following day, he comes, just addresses us, and instead of starting with apologizing and even being remorseful for the lives that have been lost, including even lying about the number, he goes ahead to tell us about his economic scope, his development scope. If you find yourself as a government, you have to explain development for people to really understand what you're doing, then you're doing nothing. You're doing nothing. We are supposed to feel the development. You cannot tell me that Kenya is not able to develop, that it must have a date, that we must increase taxes. No. An MP receives a lot of money. These are servants. Why should an MP receive more than 250,000 shillings a month? Why? Why should an MP be given a car grant? Do you know a grant? A grant means this is money you are being given, it will never be returned. Then they are telling us about spending. The wage bill is way above, but when you look at it, the executive, the parliament consume heavily in terms of the wage bill. It's disproportionate Yet teachers are earning peanuts, and they are still not enough. Policemen are earning peanuts, and it's still not enough. I think that the most important thing that every Kenyan should focus on is to bring a way to make sure that every government is held to account for everything it does and everything that goes wrong. You cannot tell me that police can kill. You are the commander-in-chief, but you do not take action. Does it mean you exactly know what is going on? You cannot fool us. We are not fools. We are not a suppressed generation. We are a generation that is learned. We are a generation that has information on our fingertips. We are a generation that knows and understands our rights. We read the law. The law is online. You can refer to it in seconds when he's speaking, and you're able to know, are they telling us the truth or are they lying? And on the same note, let me remind everyone here that the bill the president is talking about withdrawal, the president cannot withdraw a bill. He can only dissent on it. But when he goes to parliament, remember, 14 days. 14 days. Parliament is in recess. They are talking about when they come back, they will talk about a report. But let me tell you, in 14 days, that bill will be accounted as law. That's a fact. It will not change unless they call for a special sitting, and clearly the proponent of that law, who is Kuria Kimani, must himself withdraw that law. If that does not happen, oh my people, you are in trouble. You are in trouble because that bill will become law silently. And I do not see any business within the parliament or within the leaders that we have to really call on a special sitting before that timeline is over. If that doesn't happen, let's just forget it. It becomes law. And that means we'll engage a new gear. We have to engage a new gear. But for now, I say that we must keep sight on the process. Otherwise, because I have to also allow other people to speak, allow me to just call it stop there and then hand it over to someone else. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Levin. As I had mentioned earlier, kindly make your comments very short because there are so many people on the speakers who are requesting to be speakers. So let's have Lennox, and then after Lennox we'll have Abdi Razak. I hope I've mentioned your name correct. Then CUG, then we continue like that. Please, maximum 1 minute 30 seconds so that everybody can have a chance to speak. Lennox.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm gonna put it in two ways, and I'm gonna mainly speak about health, ama mambo ya matibabu. You see, the last demonstration I can remember vividly because haiwezi toka kwa akili is when Baby Pendo died, and mpaka wa leo hakuna mtu ameajibika kusuluhisha hiyo maneno. The people who have died during this demonstration, heads must roll. If the president wants us to trust him or even believe what he's saying, I'd rather him call a press conference sahi aseme 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fired. DPP fungua mashtaka. Next 3 days judiciary watu waende walale jela. Wasikie vile kula maragwe, mtu anasikianga kula maragwe ya jela. Not that I've been in prison anyway, but people's heads must roll, and not roll at wakati ushingo hapana. They must be brought to book. Number 2, ukienda hospitali kuna wazazi wenye wanatumwa kununua drugs nje, na ni hospitali ya serikali, and it's very expensive and they can't afford. Someone tells you buy medicine worth 8,000 Kenyan shillings. Instead of the government subsidizing that, walete kwa hospitali hawafanyi hiyo, which is very sad. If you see these governors, this president per se, anataka legacy yake instead of ajaribu kufight for the people. Mtu anakuja na hii project, anaanza, ikifika nusu, the one person anaingia anaanza project nyingine, then you want us to sahau Mtu anajenga hospitali anafikisha nusu ama hata ana launch, anaweka tu kijiko moja ya mchanga, and then we never see that project come about and ikuwe something very nice. Take a look at the screenshots, some of the images these MPs show us on Twitter or in social media. Kama the other day, this MP akiwa kwa parliament akapigwa na chupa ya maji. Then they go to Nairobi hospital, stay there for 3 days, amepigwa na chupa ya maji. How much is it to stay in Nairobi hospital for 3 days? Hiyo pesa yote, na kuna Mkenya wa kawaida hata hana insurance. Chupa ya maji anagongwa na kuna Mkenya pale ako hospitali hata hana pesa ya bill. These MPs want us to ensure their lives, but as Mkenya wa kawaida ukipata shida tunaenda mchango, tunaita harambee, we opening WhatsApp groups. I'm sure wale watu wanafanya kazi hii Nairobi, you have so many WhatsApp groups umewekwa kwamba uchange things that ufai kuchanga, they should be available by the government. Unaambiwa uchange, kuna relative ama relative ya your friend, kitu imefanyika tu, unaambiwa uchange, wende umlipie bili hospitali. Not that you don't want to pay those bills hospitali, it is human and the African spirit ni kuchangia wengine, but these things must be available by the government. We have already paid enough taxes to go and buy medicine nje ya hospitali. We have already paid enough taxes, na hatufai kutoa pesa kwa mfuko atunaenda nje kununua medicine enye government ingefai ilete kwa hospitali, ama tuchangie mtu bile hospitali ambapo government inge subsidize. Tafadhali our MPs lazima waende nyumbani. We must recall them and heads must roll. People must be brought to the books. People must wakuje waambiwe hapana, hatuwezi sahau baby Pendo. We will never forget. How can they kill a 6-month-old baby? 6 months. Now if I'm wrong, correct me. How vijana walikufa kwa streets, seeing mothers cry, seeing our sisters and our brothers being killed on the street. Mtu wamekufa kwa street kama mbu, and then someone anaandika Facebook kama anaandika Twitter ati hata ikikuja kesho mimi nitavote 2 years. I mean, they have no sense of utu. Mtoto ameuliwa Rongai leo. I mean, what is that? Really? MPs must be brought to the book. And if the president wants us to even have a shred of doubt at kwamba tunamwamini, at least aite press conference, heads must roll. And it has to start today, si kesho. Hakuna kuachilia kanyanga hata kama inatoa ulimi. Hawezi achilia nyoka kwa sababu ina kwa kilogetu tunasema ati ina kidney sasa unaiwacha. Hapana, piga hiyo nyoka mpaka uone nyoka imezima. Tafadhali, people's lives are not ni kama inzi unaweza piga kwa ukuta ati na usahau. Hapana, we must pay and they must pay. These leaders hata hafai kuongea kwa kanisa, hata hafai kuongea mbele yetu, hata to explainia why I voted yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Lennox. Let's have Abdi. Yeah.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me. Good evening, guys. I just want to speak on the state of the nation, and I think the speakers before me have addressed, and you all see that the same bitterness is shared by every single citizen of this nation. This is a very great nation, and I believe we have been failed by the same leaders we have elected them. My address this evening is we shun tribalism simply because with the protest that has been ongoing, it has been, I think, in the history of Kenya, it is on record that it's not based on any tribalism that is available. And it seems the leaders of this nation, I'm sorry to call them leaders because they are not, the substance of the constitution is not in their head. They even don't understand that book called the Constitution and the power that it has. And as we have said, the only thing that the President of the Republic of Kenya needs to do to redeem himself is either to dissolve the parliament, call a fresh election, or the head must roll. people should be responsible of their actions. Killing of peaceful protesters is not a reason for a government to respond. Leaders talking arrogantly. We are the masses, we have the powers. And I believe that corruption has also eroded these countries to the core, whereby we sit and it's a normal life that people who do not even conform to the requirement of the society, they never went to school, they never did any business, they never did any production, no thinking capacity at all, except stealing from people, wash, conmanship. All of them have been transferred to parliament. Those are the people who are making decisions for us. They don't read books, they go laugh there, they do all the nasty things, all the immoral things that you can imagine on this earth. They are even the aspect of God fearing to restrain themselves morally. It's never there. So the aspect of shyness is not there, so they don't care. So my fellow citizen, our nation is in dire need of a dialogue, is in dire need of us engaging each other. And my sincere request is we create civic education, awareness, and put to task our president that he should be accountable for his actions. We gave him the mandate and he should do the necessary thing. Either he resigns or he takes action. It's either now or never. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdi. Let's have Engineer Kime. Your hand is up, Kimentere.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Yes.
Thank you for this great opportunity. Maybe kwanza kitu naweza sema, we have failed as a nation. Why? How can you have the same MP analipwa kitu kama let's say 700,000 a month? The same MP unapata anapewa NCCDF ya 50 million, anaambiwa ati ajenge shule, ajenge barabara. If the NCCDF ni ya kufanya development, kama ni ya shule, why can they channel to the Ministry of Education so that we can get accountability? Kama ni ya kujenga barabara, we have Kura, tuko na Kenha. Those are institutions zenye ziko na professional engineers wenye wanaweza fanya hiyo kazi, na tutakuwa tunaweza pata accountability kutoka kwao. So mimi kwa maoni yangu about the state of the nation, we need to reset this nation. We need a fresh election. We need fresh rules so that the MP himself can undergo a pay cut. Juu unapata when hizo motions zikikuja kwa hiyo floor of the house, hao watu wakatoa mshahara, kila mtu ana vote against it. Kwa nini? Ina affect wao. The same person unapata anapewa 50 million afanye development, anapeana bursary ya 2.5 million. Hiyo pesa nyingine inapotea. Nobody is accounting there. Sasa hii inafaa ifike mahali, if you are from any a certain constituency, tuseme the voters of that constituency wanafaa kuwa wanapata accountability direct from that office. Personally, I come from a ward that has only 47 kilometers of tarmac road, and you are paying taxes as that ward. Unapata hata we have even plants zinafanya mining huko za soda ash. Hakuna benefit yenye tunapata huko. As the same people in the political class, even wao ndio wanafaidika zaidi. Kupata connections za kupata hiyo job, you need them there. Na then the thing they wanaweza fanya ni, as long as ukumchagua, hauwezi mwambia kitu. We need to reset everything. Huyo MP mwenye ana vote, au doctors wenye wako internship wasipewe employed. The doctor, ile kazi anafanya is more important than him being in parliament. We need to reset this nation. We need resolution. We need to reset everything. The whole government should move out. We need a resolution yenye everyone akona sauti ya kusikizwa. We have even our graduates. Watu wanaenda huko majuu. Ruto anaendelea kusema hapa ati anasaidia watu kuenda majuu. These guys wanaenda majuu professionals, lakini ile kazi wanafanya huko ni kazi ya mtu wa mkono. Yaani ni kazi hata unaenda kufanya tu juu una otherwise than even kuishi maisha ya Kenya kuamka asubuhi kila siku kutafuta. So the same government yenye inatoa pesa kwa mfuko yako ile kidogo nilikuwa mabaki nayo. Saa hii utasema juu hiyo bill wanasema wataiacha hiyo pesa. They still come for it. Unapata umelipa NHIF yenye hiyo saa hii inaitwa SHIF for like 10 years, but bado ukienda kwa hospitali unaambiwa wewe sio ufanye na public service, ama wewe sio mfanyikazi wa serikali, uwezi itumia. Hakuna. So itabidi umerudi kwa mfuko yako, ama kama unaweza lipia insurance ya health personally, so utakuwa unalipa ile NHIF, bado unalipa another extra insurance juu unajua ile haiwezi kusaidia. Juu wewe unafanya kibarua zako unalipa na 500, ile siku unapata, ile siku hujapata unaachana nayo. So we need a country yenyewe kama hizo dawa zinafaa kuenda kwa hospitali, basi hizo dawa zitanyeliwe kwa Ministry of Education, kwa Ministry ya Health direct, so that kila kitu ikuya tuweze kuchannel. Tuna challenge ministry, sio tuna channel unaanza kuchallenge a politician mwenye alipewa hiyo pesa kwa favor ndio afanye kitu kingine siku fulani ya kufavor the same government. Kama kuna mtu anaweza, kama kuna kiongozi yote mwenye akona scandal kwa hiyo government, inafaa apigwe ban. Huo msee asiwahi vai ama asiwahi kuwa kiongozi wa mahali. That is my submission. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's have Beat. And kindly, guys, please keep your comments very short because there are so many people who want to come to speak.
Hello, thank you. I hope everybody is here today.
Yes.
We can hear you. What I want to say is that this nation, we really don't have a nation at the moment, because today I saw 2 policemen in a red pickup. I don't know if it's been a pickup or a double cabin. And one of them had a USA badge on that uniform. So I don't know which part or which unit is that in this country, Kenya, because I've never seen such unit in the Kenya Police or the KDF. And also the kid have happened in Ongata Rongai, where we have seen mtoto amepigwa na bullet 9. Yani I feel like we really need to dissolve this government and start afresh. And whereby this guy just need to see how he can leave this office. And also I've seen a post whereby Osoro is still arrogant, and where he has posted that whether the bill could have come again, he could still have voted yes, and he never cared about, and he doesn't care. So I feel like hii Kenya tuko chini. I'm in Kisumu. Yesterday we had also killings in Kisumu, but hiyo story ya Kisumu imekanyagiwa. So I don't know why, maybe sijui media ndo haziko Kisumu ama vipi, but imekanyagiwa tu sana. So nafikiri tu niko so disappointed in this country Kenya. As a medic, as a paramedic also, there's a bill that was tabled in parliament that is around 7 years ago, about employing the emergency medical technicians to the paramedic. The members of parliament never passed that bill because they think that paying paramedics 70,000 Kenyan shillings is a lot of money for them. So that is how that story ended up kufia maji kabisa. So I feel that we really need to do a lot, and also this country just need to be dissolved, man. Hata nimeshinda kitu ya kusema because I'm so much emotional. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your thoughts, Beat. Let's have Moses.
Myself.
Okay, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity for to join the space and to speak. First is to express my condolences to the families, friends, and fellow colleagues who have lost their lives in trying to make this country better. Now, the scenes that we have witnessed honestly do not portray a country that is democratic and respects the will of the people. Now, why do I say so? For me, you set a question whether it is the right time to call off or get off the streets. My emphatic answer is that this is not the time to get off the streets, because getting in the streets is guaranteed by the Constitution at any time, every other time, that people feel dissatisfied, they should actually be on the streets. And I think the fact that people have not been able to get to the streets today or yesterday doesn't mean
Hi, Priscilla. I don't know if you can still hear the Sandana.
No, I can't hear him. So let's have Kife speak.
So thank you for this opportunity. I think it's the right time that the Kenyan youth may arise and they have spoken in one voice. I appreciate what has been happening. We have been on the street too, and at least we can see we have a good progress. Mine, what I can say is that tunafaa tu kanyangie hapo. It's the right time to the parliament of the country, tukue sisi ndo tunaangalia venye mambo inaendelea. Where they go wrong, we stand, we speak in one voice. Kama ni hizi mambo ya scandal, how comes mtu anashikwa na scandal ya a billion and then anaenda hivyo kwa judiciary, anaenda anatokana huku mbele and then anaenda hivyo. I think we should stand. Tunakuwa ni kama sisi ndio judiciary. Tunasema aende nyumbani, you don't need the street appeal, leave the office. Kama ni mambo ya mahospitali hivyo, kwenye mahospitali hakuna madawa, we should make sure tumeenda kwa street mpaka hospitali ziko na madawa. Kama ni mambo ya walimu au wa GSS, tunaenda kwa street na wao. We fight as a nation, like tukue united, tumekuwa united this time round. Hata hao madok wenye hao maitani mambo yao mkague, sisi tusimame kimoja tu venye tuko, hiyo unity, that is what we need. Hii swali yako ya if it is the right time kutoka kwa street, I think I have a contrary opinion to what most have said. According to me and my philosophy, much of anything I do say it is poison. The fact and the truth is, tukiendelea kuwa on street day in day out, tutachoka na itakuwa it's a norm and will diverge from our main interest ya fighting for our country. Watu waanze kuenda for personal interest. Politicians waanze kutake advantage, au wakora tu hivyo waanze kutake advantage, like what you have seen today. Sijafurahia whatever was in Eldoret, whatever was in huko Rongai. Sijafurahia hiyo mambo ya watu kwenda ati wanaenda na masiraha. That's not how we do it. Hiyo si ile maandamano ya Gen Z yenye tumekuwa nayo Z. That's a contrary thing. So as to my opinion, I would suggest it's the right time we pause. We are not going out of the street at all. Hii ni kitu tunabakia maybe for lifetime. Juu sindo tutakuwa tuna examine the government na tuna correct. So we are not going out of the street. But I think it's the right time we take a break. Hii mambo ya finance bill, that was our main objective. Na juu imekuwa withdrawn and we know that withdrawing is not rejective. So we should pause. Hiyo 21 days ikiisha, kama watakuwa reject, then we bring them down. Sasa tuende huko na one song, one slogan, we are bringing them down, we are bringing them into account. But for now, tukienda hivyo, it's not about finance bill anymore. So some of us don't even understand. Okay, personally, I didn't go to the street today because I didn't know exactly what I'm going to do. Is it about Ruto must go? Is it about the finance bill? Is it about I don't know. Is it about you withdrew, you didn't reject? I wasn't sure of what I'm going to do to the street, and so today I will speak somewhere else. But I think we should take a break from the street for now, and then we give them time. Definitely, we don't trust our president. He have made a lot of lies before. We have a feeling that this was just a bigger lie, as he is used to. So we should give him just a little. We should sit back and watch as we plan ourselves more better. And then if the 21 goes, 21 days fades before they give a good go ahead of what the bill they will be using on 2024, if they will have rejected it, or if they will have decided to go by it, then we'll have a clean move of what we'll be doing at the time. So mine is to say that my opinion is we should take a break so that people don't getting out of the main goal. Yeah, and I would like to say that I do feel the baby that sustained the 9 bullets. I do really feel for that, and the government should really take into account those who did this work. Those bullets do have numbers; they can trace them if they wish. But if they don't wish, a time will come and we'll go to the street fighting for the justice from Rex to the baby. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for your thoughts, Peter. Again, as I had said earlier, please guys, there are so many people who want to share their comments and you don't want to cut them short. So keep your opinions and your comments as short as possible. So let's have 1-0. Give us your thoughts on today's topic. We're talking about the state of the nation, what has been happening in the nation, what are your thoughts about it?
Okay, thank you for giving me the floor. My name is Wanjiru. I'm dialing in from Cape Town, South Africa. So I've got a couple of thoughts, but I'm just going to give just a very brief similarity between South Africa and Kenya. I've been here for 30 years, but I'm still the kind of Kenyan that never really left because I come home very regularly because I do some business at home. So what I've observed in South Africa since I came here was the reason why South Africa has survived as a democracy is because it had very good institutions. So we have a constitution, but it has got institutions that support it. So there's an independent judiciary, there's a public protector's office, there's an auditor general, there's the electoral commission. There are many institutions that stand independently that oversee the executive work and the parliament, etc. Now, if you look at South Africa from 1993 up until maybe 2002, you can see a country that was really doing very well. But all of you probably have been seeing that there has been a certain deterioration over the years. And what has happened is that the state capture happened under Zuma. So so Mandela came, and then we got Thabo Mbeki, and Thabo Mbeki really pushed this country forward. And then Zuma came, and boom, something happened. The state was captured. And then the judiciary became a little bit compromised, and the institutions supporting it became compromised. And now you can see what is happening. The ranks started going down. We started seeing corruption cases not being respected. But it's still, the country is still standing because at least we still have a pretty strong judiciary. The reason why I'm giving you that parallel is to tell you the state of the nation of Kenya. The reason why we are here is because state capture has been going on since independence. So we have no institutions that work. We have a beautiful constitution, and I was there when I was a student, and I'm an activist by nature. And when I was fighting on the Moi era, because I'm a Gen X, I think, I don't know what you're called, I'm a Gen Z parent. We now witness a situation in Kenya where we have no institutions because state capture has gotten grasp of it. So we see a judiciary that cannot oversee its executive. That's why you can see a president that goes and just puts the army on the streets against its people without against the constitution. And then you see all the graft cases disappearing because the judiciary is compromised. And you have all said about the state of the nation and all the things that you're talking about are symptoms of a country that whose institutions are not working. So that said, what's the way forward? Well done, the youth of Kenya. This is coincidentally in June. It's parallel to the youth of South Africa who came and actually revitalized the liberation movement that brought South Africa out of apartheid. So it's very, very similar for me as a person who is a lawyer in South Africa and a student of history. I can see very similar parallels, and it's eerily the same. So the youth of Kenya, you're on the verge of something great, of liberating Kenya, and the world is watching, and South Africa is being inspired because the youth of South Africa is also tired of what they are seeing in their country. So what is the way forward? So the anarchy and the way this thing has been so organic has been great, because you did not have any leaders that were potentially compromised, but I saw what happened yesterday. Some fear started happening and stuff did not work today. And that's okay. You took a shot at the king, you didn't quite miss, but you made a statement. Kenya will never be the same again. The youth of today has made a statement. You made the king bow down, even if it was not sincere, but you made him bow down because this is a narcissist that we're dealing about. So I don't want to give advice because I don't know the law of Kenya, but I would like to ask the youth of Kenya, you know the people that you can trust now. And I know that you do need a place where you can now stop venting, because we know all the problems now. What are the solutions? Because we do have a country and we have a constitution, where we need to bring the constitution to life. So you do need a working committee that comprises of people that you trust, that you know cannot be compromised. And I can tell a couple of people, in my mind, I could see what Sifuna was doing. I can see what the president of the LSK was doing. You can try and put together a group of people in a working committee and start the conversation of where to from here. Because as long as the institutions are working, you cannot recall the party, you cannot impeach the president, you cannot call MPs because you don't have an IEBC. There's so many things. The judiciary is not working. They are not doing their job. So the youth of Kenya, please guys, together with the media and every stakeholder, get together and to help improve the state of the nation. Let's move from venting, because all this has been ventilated. Let's move towards solutions, and a working committee needs to be put in place. And the youth, please make sure that you put together experienced people who know governance, who know the law, and who have experience and who know that are not compromisable. I can trust Sifuna with my life. I saw him putting his hands in front of people, telling him, do not fire, do not shoot at people. You can identify those people, bring in people who represent your interests, and start making real demands on the government. I'm going to keep it short. I have a lot to say, but I want to tell you guys, well done, people. I want to use the mic now, but let's get into solutions. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Wanjiru, for your thoughts. Let's have Tindiema.
Good evening, if you're in Kenya. And
yeah, you can.
Okay. I have so much to say. People are so mad. Personally, I'm very mad. And I'm a university student. Those of you who are here, who are educated, who studied in Kenya, you knew that university was very cheap. Right now, students are paying 300,000 just to study. And normally, students will get help and send it at home. How are you going to send home help if your parents can't even afford 300,000 to pay for you to study? We've seen students changing courses to do something that is way cheaper. Very smart students. And what you're seeing right now is because we had free education and they're trying to take it away from us by them making sure that education is hard for the common mwananchi to get. Number two, in the ICT bill, they want ICT people, tech people to have degrees in order to do tech. Google itself does not need you to have a degree to join Google. You don't need it. So, and the same people who are telling IT people to have degrees, personally, I'm in IT. Same people telling IT people to do degrees don't require a degree to be an MP, to sit in parliament, for you to have a seat. They have sitting allowances. You are begging us to give you votes so that you can go and demand for a sitting allowance when you're getting a salary. What the hell? And from what we've seen from yesterday and today, have you seen the mother that lost her child? She was crying. Children have been shot. People have died. And the worst part is that Kenyans keep on forgetting. And I hope Kenyans, we don't forget. We forgot what happened in 2007 when the same person was taken to Hague and charged for killing people. And the cases were dropped. And now something is happening. Children are being killed. And just because someone released, said, I'm not going to sign something, and we all know that after 21 days, it becomes official. And people are like, oh, let us give them time. They did not give that child time to run. And why is the child even being told to run? The children is at home. The child is at home. There's a child who was riding a bicycle and was shot. And you're telling us, give them time, let us observe. Please, let these people just step down, because they are not leaders. They are mad men and women claiming to be leaders. These are mad people. Their children are safe somewhere. Our children are dying. There's a child with 9 bullet wounds. There's a child with a bullet in their spine. And you are telling us to wait, to observe. Someone just lost a child, children, people, wives, husbands, brothers, mothers, and you're telling us to wait and sit. So these people should just step down, because when these children were being shot, these children could not protect themselves. When people went to parliament, we saw the MPs running away. We saw choppers coming to fetch them. We saw them getting into ambulances that could have helped save someone's life, who would have been rushed to the hospital. We saw someone's body being blown apart, and you want us to wait. This is the rage that is in the country. This is the rage that is in us youths. And we are so mad and we are so angry, and these people should just step down. And IBC to be reconstitutionalized, because I want to go and claim my voter's card and drop these people off. And one more thing, anyone who has allegations of being a criminal should not be a leader. Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughts, at Ndiema. Let's have Eric. Your hand was up. Then after Eric, we'll have Matt Long. Eric? Okay, Sir John.
Hello.
Oh, Eric is here. Eric is here.
Hello. Will you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So, first of all, thank you for hosting us tonight. My name is Eric, and actually, everybody now is so much disappointed because of what is happening currently in the country. And Enso Kenyan can tell that things are not moving in the right direction. Actually, let me just speak about what happened the day when we had the protests. Yeah, that is on Tuesday. Actually, what I can say, that was kulikuwa na how do we call it, network. Let me talk about the network. Network ilipotea Safaricom, and then they know that 90% of Kenyans huwa wanategemea Safaricom. So is there a way that because of the monopoly of the telco, is there a way that now that the government can change, now that we have competition? Because even the excuse that Safaricom gave wasn't true. They said that the undersea cable had a problem, there was damage, but those one who monitors the undersea cables, they came out and said that it wasn't true, that the cable was destroyed. So whom can we trust? Is it those people who look at the undersea cables or the Safaricom? Again, why is the government having the monopoly, giving monopoly on one farm when we have more than one farm? We have Airtel, we have got Telecom, and so many other farms. So why is it happening that, and Safaricom has been having so many issues previously, working with the government only to oppress the citizens of this country. Why is it happening that way? Imagine network disappearing when at a critical moment when Kenyans need to know what is happening. And the Kenyans, tunapenda social media sana. We are ranked among the top countries in the world, and in Africa. Why is it happening that at a time when information is very important, we need to share, and then a telco that they know that most of us we depend on it, then they throttle the network. Why? What can we do as citizens? Because I was so much disappointed. I think anybody who was online was disappointed until yesterday when they rectified it, and then they come and telling us that, you know what, we had an edge in our network and blah blah, so many excuses, but later on we had a proper explanation, and then this is petroleum. Safaricom betrayed Kenyans, and I want to insist on that. That is very bad of a telco that we depend so much. I think everybody was so much disappointed. Tumekasirika sana. In fact, it was very bad. And again, another thing about Kenya Power. Kenya Power, what is happening in Kenya Power? People have been complaining. There's nothing going on well with Kenya Power. I think since that the CEO, Mr. Sirol, was appointed, things have gone south completely. There's nothing working in Kenya Power. Kazi yao ni kukura pesa. Stima ukisikia nini imelipuka mahali, they don't come to look at it. Unasikia vikingi zimehang somewhere, wires are hanging loosely, killing people. They don't respond. I think several institutions in this country which are very critical, like Kenya Power, the telco, there's a mess, totally a mess, and I don't know what we can do. And again, actually, there's this reset, this code. I think umesikia wakitangaza about the reset code at hii ya reset, and then the one that sijui ni ya update all that. They send you 2 codes. I think there's something fishy about that. If we can look at it, I'm not a prophet, but there's something wrong with that. We need to be very keen, and I don't know why. Kwa nini wanasema that you have to reset your token, that meter? Why? They are working. So why? Even if I think there's something they are hiding from us. And again, this issue about blackouts every now and then, blackouts every now and then there's rationing. Unapata like area like where I stay, we don't have electricity since morning. Inakuja saa moja ya usiku. What is happening? And I think we need to look at that very seriously. Hii maandamano, I wish ingekuwa inaendelea until we are heard. We are very disappointed as the youth of this country. This country belongs to all of us, and then we cannot tolerate looking at it, some people benefiting from it, and I think I'm so disappointed. Why are we in this country to people, very few people benefiting and leaving us languishing in poverty? That is too bad. Anyway, that's what I can say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your thoughts. Kindly, guys, as I keep on saying, let's make our comments very, very short so that everyone can get a chance to speak. Let's have Siboy. Your hand is up.
You called me to speak after you. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. Okay, speak then.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I mean, I wanted to make it clear. So a couple of things. One, I'm Serone. I come from Nandi Hills. I live in Germany, so I'm not in Kenya at the moment. But I wanted to take this opportunity to share in the pain of the loss of those people who were murdered, because there is no better word. People who were murdered by the police and agents of state because of just doing the simple civic duty of coming out there to express themselves. I've always insisted that the public demonstrations are as peaceful as they can be, only up to the point that the police appear. When the police appear, that is when the chaos escalates. And there must be a reason why that is so. Part of it is to drive a negative agenda and label it as a violence, catalyst. Having said that, the other thing I wanted to do is to applaud the youth of this country, the youth of Kenya, for rising against the tide, because that's what you guys did. Our children. I'm an old person. I'm not Gen Z. I'm a father of Gen Z. But you rose against the tide, broke the glass ceiling, and disobeyed all the forces of gravity to take this conversation to the level where it is at the moment. I want to applaud all of you collectively, individually. You are leaderless, you are fearless, you are tribeless, you are everything less, including not having food and not having money, but you still made sure that you are not voiceless, which is to me the most important consequential thing. Having said that, I think we also need to applaud our Law Society of Kenya. They stood out and stood very tall. Madam President Faith Odhiambo and your team, this was probably a God-sent opportunity for you to be president, because I cannot imagine another president leading the LSK at this critical time. And all I can say is keep it up. I have heard a lot of things. I was on these spaces from day one with all the youth who are leading, and all the messages I heard were, we need to exactly resist and reject the Finance Bill 2024. It should never have happened, and I tried my bit to make it personal. I am a businessman in Kenya. I'm an investor in the solar industry. And we were going to have to buy solar materials by paying 16%. In a country where Kenya Power, like the previous speaker said, is offering us unreliable power supply at a very expensive rate, it didn't make any economic sense, except for people who are probably driving us to help them grow their business and shares in Kenya Power, to impose a 16% VAT on solar products. And that's what made me I took it as a personal thing to really campaign there. So I have heard all these things about, exporting labor and all this stuff. I think it is a great thing to work abroad. If you get a chance to do, please do. I cannot tell you it is a bad thing, because I left Kenya in 2001 through China, and then after that to Germany, and I have seen a difference. Part of the reason is because I came into Germany as a professor, so it was fairly secure for me. I didn't need to work with my hands. But what I wanted to say is, government has no business being in the business of exporting labor at all. Zero. And I come from an area in Nandi County, which is neighboring Uasin, where we've had scandals and scandals of youth being duped, people selling land to pay agencies that were allegedly supposed to ship people abroad, and they ended up A, taking that money, B, disappearing, and the youth never got the promises of jobs abroad, including the last World Cup, which was played in the Middle East. I think the reason why this is happening is because the government is led by people who are preying on your preying, P-R-E-Y, preying on your vulnerabilities, speaking to your weaknesses and your ambitions and exploiting them to their advantage. We need to say no. All the business that the government needs to do to enable labor migration includes, and I will just name them. I have written there. You guys can read it. I don't want to go through it. I have just commented on this space. But the most critical one is for students who need to go and study abroad. Don't you feel ashamed that for a student to come to Germany, for example, to study in an English language course, they are required to take TOEFL? To prove that a Kenyan is actually proficient enough in English, even with my Nandi twang, I am very sure I speak better English than a German. But for a Kenyan to come to Germany to study a course which is offered in English, they have to take TOEFL. It is expensive, it takes time, it takes material to prepare, and it is simply needless. I expect a government intervention to say, we want a smooth ride for Kenyans. We do not want this TOEFL business for any student going to study in a country like Germany, because we instruct our children through school in English. That is the role of government in labor migration, in my opinion. The other thing is to facilitate the processing of IDs speedily. You should ideally be getting an ID in one day. You should walk in, you have your photo, you have your fingerprints, they have ready paper which is printed, laminated, or cards prepared. You get it right there and you walk away with your ID. It should be the same with a passport. And the other thing which I think I have heard a lot, and I really want to play a role once the dust settles, is the Ministry of Labor in Kenya. I have no idea what it does, to be honest. And one of the things I keep asking myself, because when I left the private sector in Germany, I went through a process in Germany where the Ministry of Labor offers you a number of tailored courses that converted me from a scientist and a university professor to an entrepreneur in that case. And I mean, I am really ashamed to say this, but just take the example of me, somebody who went from the classrooms through the private sector, and today I run my own businesses in Germany, where I consult for several companies, and I've very good business. I think some of you might have read. We just got about 6 million euros with some group of companies to run some research business. And the thing I'm saying is, we need the Ministry of Labor to prepare people for the labor market, including offering business coaching, CV preparation services, coaching on how to run a business, etc., because this is what I went through. I was converted from a scientist to a businessman with the help of the Ministry of Labor in Germany, because they invested money in me. Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Chelulei. I'll request you to please keep it short so that we can bring somebody else on the line.
I will end it there because my power is even gone by the time I'm done. So, I mean, that's all I can say. You can read the rest in my comment here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that submission, Mr. Chelulei. I think I'll have Siboy come up, and then after Siboy, we'll have Ombachi.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. I hope you can hear me well.
Yes, we can hear you. Kindly go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I will like to pass my heartfelt condolences to the families that have lost their loved ones here in Githurai and what is going on in Rongata Rongai. And it's also my urge that we are holding spaces and we are holding spaces, talk and express our feelings aimlessly without having a solution. So please, I will urge everyone, if we can hold a space, let us come up with a solution. Let us come up with a direction to these young children, to these young Gen Zs who are ready to fight for this country. Let us not buy the fear. Let us not buy the lies of this man, because let us take serious the Ruto who talked on Tuesday. That is the real Ruto. Lakini huyu mwenye ametuongelesha juzi, huyo si yeye. Huyo ni mtu mwenye alikuwa ametumwa after seeing what he did to us, ama what he talked to the nation on Tuesday. Haikuwa imefurahisha watu. So hapa alikuwa amevalia ngozi ya kondoo, ilhali tunamjua yeye ni chui. Another thing is that we have had insecurities in this government. The government officials are doing business with the bandits. Tunajua hiyo. Wanatudanganya hawana pesa. Wanatudanganya serikali haina fedha. Bali tunajua wanatumia pesa zetu kwa njia ambazo hazistahili. Please, let us work on this government. Wacha tufanye hiki kitu once and for all, of which we know other people like Raila wamekuwa wanabuy the lies of this man. That's why Raila has been failing all the time. Let us not be singing the same narrative tukirudia. Wacha tufanye hii kitu mara moja na tujue imeisha hivyo, tafadhali. That's all.
Thank you so much for that, Siboy, and thank you for keeping it short. Ombachi, you can take it up. Ombachi, are you there? Okay. Ombachi, go. Yeah, I see your hand is up. Teams Ombachi. Alright, since Teams is not there, so Equalizer, you can go. Equalizer, are you there? Priscilla, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Alright, Equalizer, one more time. Alright, Equalizer is not there. Africa checklist, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much. First of all, my condolences to the family and those who were injured during this protest. We are with you in prayers. You can count on us 100%. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I first of all want to thank each and everyone for the good week. I would say it was a good week. We made our voice heard. They will do whatever they want to do now, but from now on, these guys will know that Kenya belongs to all Kenyans. They will not take advantage of us anymore. And we are requesting that the president must fire all the ministers first and have a new government in place. Because we have people, we have lawyers who are ministers of roads. We have people who do not even know the reason why they were appointed to head these positions. And therefore, we are asking the president. We don't want to see these people. These people are stealing from us. They are making us poor. The second thing I want to talk about, we have seen foreign dignitaries coming to Kenya each and every time. And anytime they come here, we use a lot of money entertaining them in the name of we are looking for FDI, foreign direct investment. They are coming to invest where? Are we creating a conducive environment for this kind of investment? And the media is also letting us down on this. A foreigner will come. Which foreigner will come and pay a work permit? A Class D work permit in Kenya is 1 million shillings. Today, a Class D work permit is 1 million. 2 years ago, it was 200,000. The foreigners are always coming here. Oh, this one is coming. What are they? What kind of investment are they bringing here? If we are not creating a conducive environment for them to invest here, then you are telling us that we go somewhere else to get jobs over there, while you are not creating a conducive environment for other investment here. Therefore, we are asking these people. Imagine someone just decide that on e-citizen they are going to raise the prices of work permits. Then I think it was last month that was said, the auditor general said that 15.5 billion disappeared from e-citizen. Where is this money going? Why are these people doing this to us? Do they have children or grandchildren? Where they are destroying this country now? Where are their grandchildren going to live? Why are they making us slaves in our own country? Well, we have power and resources to make this country a better place for the next generation. I'm only requesting my fellow youth, these people must listen to us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, and I think you're raising very valid points. The Spider, you can go.
Thank you so much, Jay, and greetings to all of you, my brothers, my sisters. I just wanted to share in my, I guess, sadness at what's happening, at the situation that's unfolding. It's really unprecedented, I think, for Kenya. I myself have Kenyan roots, have Kenyan links between Kenya and the Republic of Somaliland, which is also in the Horn of Africa. So it has been, particularly as someone in the diaspora, it has been really sad to witness what's been going on. So first of all, my sympathies, my thoughts, my prayers to all the people who are affected. That's what I wanted to say initially. I think for a long time Kenya had been that country in the Horn of Africa, in East Africa, that many people look to for stability, for its peace, for its development. The economic and financial leader of the Horn of Africa, a leader in good governance in many ways in terms of its democracy and so on. Of course, it had its problems as well, but relatively speaking, compared to the rest of the region, really it was a beacon. So of course it is sad and saddening to see the situation that's unfolding. I think we have to ask ourselves some really pointed questions. Who are the people who are surrounding the president, who are advising him in this way? And I'll be really honest with you. For me, there was a harbinger. There was the horsemen of the apocalypse, which is what I call them. When I saw these two men appointed, I knew that problems were on the horizon for Kenya. The names of these two men is Aden Duale, who is the Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Defense, and the second person is, if you just give me a moment, I just need to remind myself. It's the head of the intelligence. I think his name is Haji Nurdin Haji.
Nurdin Haji, yeah.
That's it. And when I saw those two people being appointed, I really knew that Kenya was headed for a dark place. And I will tell you how I knew this. Because both of those men have very close links to Somalia, the failed state of Somalia. They frequent the countries. I think, what's his name, Nurdin Haji was in Somalia just in December. He was in Kismayu not long ago as well. They have very close working relationships with the political elite in the failed state of Somalia. And there is a culture there of police brutality, of misuse and abuse of power in Somalia. And culture diffuses. For me, the other alarm was when I saw Somalia being pushed to come into the East African community as well, which I know that people, those two in particular, and other people potentially had a hand in as well. And the problem is when you allow people into your institutions who come from a mindset, from a culture, who surround themselves with people where actually upholding the rule of law is not the norm, where freedom to protest is not the norm, where abuse of power and misuse of power is the norm, then you are opening yourself up to a very dangerous situation and a slippery slope. You know, when you give authority and power to people whose first instinct, whose tendency is to get the hammer rather than the pen, you know, to get the AK-47 rather than the microphone and actually speak to people and listen to people, then you're set for a very dangerous situation. So those two men, their instincts, their backgrounds, the people who they surround themselves with, the company they keep, suggests that actually they're not going to lead Kenya towards a good place. So I think the sooner those two can be removed from office, the Minister of Defense in particular, and the head of the intelligence, I think heads have to roll. People have to be held accountable. And if there is no accountability, if actions don't have consequences, if they are not going to fall on their swords when people are dying, then I think it puts into question Kenya's position in terms of the leadership role that it has held in East Africa for a long time. So the Secretary of Defense, Aden Duale, he has to be held responsible. Nurdin Haji, he has to be held responsible. And if that means going through due process, going through the courts, saying actually who signed off on the use of force, and maybe the president doesn't get involved in the nitty-gritty decision making. You know, who signed off on the forced disappearances of some of these protesters who were taken away from the streets, some of them not seen again, some of them appearing a few days later. So we have to ask ourselves those questions and accountable. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Go
okay,
ahead.
okay. Thank you. Let's have LC.
Hi, thank you so much, Shiko, for the opportunity for hosting this space and a chance to air out my views as well. I hope I am loud and clear. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge and pass my sincere condolences to every family that has lost a loved one and to every heart that is aching, and I just want to speak peace upon us and seek for wisdom even as we try to regroup, as people say. Nothing much of what I'm going to say is away from what many of us have spoken. However, I will just make it clear to three things. Number one, I'll put it at our voice, accountability, and speed. I'll start with our voice. I know most of us are, or all of us are feeling the pain and the ache of what is going on in the country and the killings and everything. It's just not going to stop, unfortunately. For lack of a better word, I refuse to refer to Baba Shalin as the president. I will go by the word Baba Shalin. So Baba Shalin has actually, I hear many people saying, let's give them time, let's regroup, let's do what, but I beg to differ. There is no time to waste in time of letting these people rethink. Because the slogan of what they are going through is, tuatishie tu kidogo alafu watanyamaza, ama wataongea na watanyamaza. We need to act now. We are holding spaces, we are saying a lot of words, but I feel our actions are not being felt. I do not know if the protests will keep going on. I do not know what will work, but I personally am telling myself action needs to be taken. For instance, all this, we need to send those people home, send the ministry home. The person who needs to go, number one, is Baba Shalin. Do not expect this person to let go of his cabinet or parliament, people who are basically errant boys or errant girls here and there. This man has been shielding people in power who are just actually advancing an agenda for him. Bring fake fertilizer, we talk about it, nothing happens. There is this 15 billion getting lost at e-citizen, no one is being held accountable. The political class need to learn one thing, which I feel is the agenda we need to start by working on, holding people in public offices accountable. And how best are we going to do this? We need structures up and running. We cannot recall back MPs if we do not have an IBC. And this man knows that, si ati hajui, anajua. That's why he's dilly-dallying in putting an IBC in place, because mumesha mwambia already you want to send his team back. The first thing he got when he spoke was to thank his members of parliament for voting yes. Not even say sorry to Kenyans for killing. I keep asking myself, why are the KDF, why are the police manning our streets? Why? If you're not already at a point of defense, you're already ready for war when there is no war. If you look at the protests going on, the first people who provoke violence is them attacking the crowd. And people are like, why are you attacking us? If at all it could be the same way I'm seeing other counties just, demonstrating peacefully, hata hakuna polisi, why can that be replicated here in Nairobi? They've already felt our fear, and the first opportunity they have gotten is to divide us, because our voices all of a sudden are being chaotic. Some of us, we have fear, we don't know what to do, we don't know where. We need to keep at it. There is international support on us. Sijui London, sijui Germany, sijui where. People already marching in support to what we are pushing for. Yet here back home, we have cowered back. We need to go by the track record of Baba Shalin. He never forgets. It plays in hurting people who are trying to go after him. So let us not lose our voice. Number 2, accountability. Can we hold this government accountable on the foundation of our own constitution? They do not respect our constitution. They only quote it when it matters to them. Wacha wakae wakijua watakaa kwa hiyo ofisi and they will act by applying the constitution. That's what should guide us. Number 3, guys, can we rally together and find a common goal? Because I feel tumeenda mbali sana with where we are headed. Easy killings tunaona, this man is not hayuko remorseful. Have you had anyone come forth and say sorry for the killings? No one. He doesn't even have statistics. I refuse to say people who are surrounding him. Him as an individual, akona simu, akona social media, akona access to technology. I'm sure he knows. Going by his track record, he's a dictator, arrogant, delusional man, I tend to say. But mukisema we are buying time, washaona strategy yetu. Just look at what is going on social media. Very many accusations. Sijui Rigathi is funding what? Sijui who is funding chaos where? Sijui they are applying on our what is it called? Pure cause to run their own things. They are throwing each other under the bus because it can tell you the government is not even standing on its own. If we rely on them, these people are not for us. If we want them home, can we change? Kama saizi reject bill yenye iko pending for me, I don't know why people are saying it's passed or not. Me, I feel if they were over good cause, they should have called for a special sitting already, and this thing was well and done. But that aside, can we push to accountability? How are we getting these people to be accountable? Can we have systems? Can we have the IBC? Can we hold the police service and the people under the security accountable for the deaths that we are seeing? Because mwezi tushinda tukisema people are dying. Au jana wameua, leo wameua. They're just killing people left, right and center. No matter what we say, it doesn't matter. Someone needs to be held accountable. Hizi pesa zenye zinapotea, ni nani tunaitisha? It's as simple as IBC formation. We push it forward the same way we push the agenda of Nini. Once wanna push Ruto must go. I agree, he must go. Because he will not govern us and he is the greatest thief of them all. He can't do that. If he go, it starts from up there, washuke wote. And it will work if we put our voice together and call these people down. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your thoughts, Elsie. We are winding up this conversation, so let's have Fred, then Kenya Daima, then Dragonfire, then we'll finish with the North Lights.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Host. I'll take the shortest time possible because I don't take somebody's time here.
Okay.
Well, as a country, first of all, Kenya, we know so much well that we are totally depending on taxation. That's my baby, sorry about that. We totally depend on taxation as a country. But so it's only noble for the government and its leaders actually to create these opportunities for us to earn. I mean, because from these earnings, we are going to be taxed. Look around. There's no factories coming up. There's no factories being revived. But all we are seeing is malls and apartments coming up, and most of these malls and apartments are being run by these cartels who are doing the wash businesses. So if we can't create this room for job, if we can't create this job for our citizens, where they can be taxed from, because totally we don't have minings, and if we do, maybe there are very few that cannot sustain us. We only have those. We only depend totally on our taxation. If there's no factory that's coming up, are these leaders really care about us? No, they don't. Like my fellow speaker has spoken there, investors are coming in and going. No one wants to invest here because of the kind of licenses and kind of bribe they're being asked by the same leaders. People are so overwhelmed. If you open your business now, you're also going to be overwhelmed by the licenses that they need, the kanjos that are on your neck. There's so much lot of licenses. But then again, where does this money go? I think the country, first of all, the leadership should have just sealed all the loopholes where cartels are earning their money before they went for this taxation. They should have sealed all the loopholes and see what we have in the public coffers, then use that to determine what taxation level should be risen. But they just came up, there's no anything like any loophole sealed, so the money is still flowing in the cartel's hands. An example is a young girl just the other day picked around 300 million stashed in a sack. How does someone stash in a sack in cash 300 million shillings? It was over that, I think. How does we lost as a country here? And we also have these unconstitutional offices, like the one being held by Mdavadi. We also have those one for the first ladies, the nominated MPs. These are all burdening Kenyans. If we can subsidize by meeting all these offices and creating employment for our citizens, then we won't even be on the streets. The government is being run like a kiosk, according to me. How about they should? The cartels here. Look at the wash businesses that are rising. Just the other day. Just going forward, we should just. I know we want to be on the streets anymore, but we should just continue using this power of social media and expose these crooks, because we want to be in the streets day in, day out. So let's just stick to our social media and expose each and every individual. If you know someone who is, I'd rather even use a pseudo account. If you know someone and you have every detail about this person who is in group businesses or something, because these guys watch that 12 million, 20 million, but you've never seen them working. Kenya is a country whereby billionaires, not even a single billionaire, unapata kuna office yake individual as an office. They still want to be employed in the government.
Fred, kindly keep your comments short so that everyone can get a chance to speak.
Okay, thank you. Let me just end it there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Kenya Daima.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank everyone who is here. I want to thank you for the good job you are doing. Yeah, so I want to disagree with some people who are saying we should pull out of the streets, because I think this is a good moment, and I think we should set an agenda. So my opinion was we can push for a constitutional moment so that we can tell these guys that we need to change the constitution. There are a lot of wrongs that are going on that we need to change. There are some useless posts such as the women rights slot. We can tell them we don't want that. There are a lot of ministries, we can reduce them. Then these MPs, we can tell them if you move around with 10 cars, we're going to stone you. You just need to move around with 2 cars. That is wastage. Shikov, as I finish, I hope on Tuesday we are going back to the streets.
Thank you so much, Kenya Daima. Let's have Dragonfire.
Am I audible enough?
Yes, you are.
Okay. I rarely use my real name here. That's my favorite. But anyway, respectfully, my condolences to the lost Kenyans, the bereaved families. May they find peace, and to the injured, I wish them a quick recovery. So I won't regurgitate what everyone has said around governance. I know everyone is ranting right now. Kenyans are angry. There is corruption, we're being overtaxed, politicians are arrogant towards us, our human rights are violated, we have systems that are inefficient, left, right, center. So I want to regurgitate that. But walk with me, picture this scenario, which is something we have all gone through after uni. So you apply for a role, which is something cliche. You apply for a role, the role attracts a bunch of candidates. You go through rounds of interviews, you get to the final round, you get selected because you're the best candidate for the job. Nice. Yeah? You get in, but it does not stop there. You have to work. you have to upskill so that you stay ahead of the game. And then, there are performance, you have, the performance development review cycles where you're reviewed against your goals and then, against your goals and the leadership competency model. If this is happening to us in our hard-earned jobs, then why are we not subjecting these politicians to the same process? Why are we allowing these politicians to raw dog leadership? Because I don't regard politicians as leaders, these are politicians. And this is where accountability enters the chat. I know everyone talks about accountability and I don't want to rant about it, but I'll just give a solution around it. So one thing is that we are visual people and visuals tap into our emotions and data visualization can help with that. And I've been thinking about how we could really shake things up when it comes to keeping our government in check. I feel like we're just taking that one for everything. For instance, if you look at the current government, we have the manifesto was branded as the plan, which has everything they promised us, but we just took that one for it. So what if we have this super detailed system that basically acts like a giant report card for the government? So picture this, we set up this massive or encompassing public scoreboard. So it will be plastered all over the place, or it could be on a dedicated website, which is public. So it shows exactly how well the government and the different county governments and the different constituencies, whichever jurisdiction we're talking about, is doing in all sorts of areas. So we're talking roads, we're talking hospitals, we're talking schools, you name it. Now here is where it gets really juicy. So for each of these areas, we have these specific targets, right? We are setting the bar high for ourselves because we've already set the bar high for ourselves when it comes to this uprising. So say 90% of promised roads should be completed on time. 75% of farmers should have access to subsidized seeds. That kind of thing, you get the gist. And, they don't need, if they don't hit these targets by the time the 5 years are over, then they'll be out of running for the next election. And I just feel like this system would, just be about keeping, this system would help to keep politicians on their toes, and it will also be like a game changer for us regular folk, because we won't really scratch our heads wondering if that hospital in country A or constituency Z ever got these national statements. So we could just check the scoreboard and actually confirm that they have delivered on the project. So the reason I'm saying all this is because it's about bringing everything out into the open. No more vague promises. We have cold hard facts staring us in the face. And also, it would really help with civic engagement because we'd be these super informed citizens armed with real data. And this would help a lot with just ensuring that people actually see what has been done. And if you don't see it, then you don't believe it. Political debates will also get way more interesting instead of just politicians going out there and throwing empty promises around. So of course, this, as I wrap up, this would be a massive undertaking, and we need to figure out how to measure all these different areas fairly. Make sure we get the data accurately, just get everyone on board, and if you're interested in this, just let me know. But I feel like regardless, this would be something that's really worth it. And I know it's a crazy idea, but imagine just how different things would be if we had a system like this. So again, the rhetoric or just my parting shot is, if you're working so hard to prove yourself at your workplace, then why can't these politicians do the same? Again, if you're interested in just using this system, public system, just let me know. But that's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dragonfire, for your thoughts. And as we are wrapping up, let's have the Northern Light give your thoughts.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I highly appreciate. Personally, on the state of the country, I'm super stressed, and I don't know. I've been skimming through Twitter, and everything I see just makes me feel sick. And I know every Kenyan is extremely angry at this point. And I feel for us, we know what the problem is, and with the kind of force that we've been able to go forth in terms of the rejecting the finance bill, I think in as much as we are extremely mad, we need to approach now these issues with a lot of sobriety, open-mindedness, and some sort of organization structure to be able to address now what is the solution, because the problems are too many. Corruption being one of the major issues that is not only facing Kenya but Africa at large. And I do feel that we need to have stringent measures put in place like these other countries like China. You know, like when you're a public servant and you're found to doing these fishy dealings, corruption and all that, they are so like this life sentence and things like that, whereby your children, if you're a public servant, your children are not even able to access the public services like school and health and things like that. And my other thought is, as someone working in the manufacturing industry, currently in Kenya, we have only 2 active companies that are actually manufacturing aluminium. And from the experience I've had from where I work, you find that the cost of production here in the country is extremely high, and steamer being one of the key expense that is very, very, very high. And I do wonder why the government actually has agreed KPLC to be a monopoly in terms of distribution of electricity in the country. For them at least to for Kenyans to get electricity at a cheaper price, I feel it's high time they give opportunities to companies like maybe KenGen, so that we can have competition. The fact that these people are selling electricity to KPLC and are monopolizing people, it's extremely high, and these are some of the things that we need to be reduced so that you can have companies coming up so that they're able to operate fully. Another thing that is in my mind, in terms of that is Kenyans getting opportunities to even bid for bigger projects in the country. Kenyans have aired their opinion out about things like the performance bond that is usually required for one to be able to compete or even bid for these jobs. Apparently, the Chinese organizations are given opportunities, and since they're being given loans from their own country, they're able to pay for these bonds and secure these jobs. So unajiuliza, if these particular people are given these particular opportunities to take these jobs, what about the contractors and developers and every other person that is expected to be here? How can they be able to secure jobs and give other people and employ Kenyans? So these people give the representative in the government huge kickbacks, alafu unapata now Kenyans wanabaki kama hawapati opportunity ya kuweza kufanya these particular jobs that are available. And I feel that in as much as we are asking for accountability, then what I think it's Dragonfly came up with an idea that is supposed to be put in place. And in as much as the heat of whatever has happened on Tuesday might not be felt to the depth that we want, it's high time we also rally everyone that is 18 years and above that is able to vote, and also sensitize one another so that come 2027, any person that is going to have been able mentioned in scandalous things, corruption and everything, they have to go home. We cannot be able to give them an opportunity to divide us. There's the divide and rule thing that they've been doing all along, which has driven Kenya to a point where we are in this particular state that we are in. All in all, let's also keep praying so that we can have the knowledge and wisdom to know what to do and how to do it better. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We are coming to an end of this lovely conversation. Thank you so much for everyone who's tuned in and everyone who has come up to the speakers panel and the many comments that you have left on this space. And also a special thank you to my co-host Jishiko. This conversation does not end here. We will pick it up from here as soon as we can. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for listening in. Kindly follow us on all our social media platforms at K24 TV and also K24 Plus. Have a lovely evening and keep safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.